taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, and Student Loan Interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Woody Overton. And today we're going to be continuing the series, #Justice for Hailey. And it's powerful, y'all. It's powerful. I'm going to be playing more of the recording of the family with the detectives. But before we get started, I want to thank everyone for liking and sharing the Hailey story. It's very important that you continue to do so. I want to thank convicts and patrons and Apple subscribers, and hope you're enjoying all your bonus materials and early episodes and commercial-free episodes. And means a lot to us. And thank you to our national sponsors. We really do appreciate y'all. So getting right into it. Now, last week you heard the family go into, I think it's Cobb County Sheriff's Office, and speak with the top detective that they have, and numerous other detectives are in the room. And they told them 100% they believe it's a homicide. And the hang up is, the hang up in the whole case is that their pathologist originally, before he had all the evidence that they collected, which is mind-baffling to me. I'm not throwing shade on them. I think they were working the case. You can't go to an autopsy. The pathologist only had, if he doesn't have any other information, all he has is Hailey's body to look at. And that's when he originally came back and said, because there was no damage to the back of her tongue and all, 1,000 something suicides he's worked, he's ruled them all as suicides because there was no damage to the back of his tongue. Because if I stick a shotgun barrel in your mouth and you're awake, then you're going to have a natural reflex to try to stop the shotgun blast in the back of your tongue. It's going to get injured. And obviously Hailey's wasn't, but did say there was like 2 cases that he had done in his career where it was like that. Well, that's a problem for me. If there was 2 cases before, it's like solving a cold case. There's over 100,000 cold cases in the United States of America, and less than 1% ever get solved, right? Think about all the crime shows you watch, and like Courtney Coco's and Mary Pucho's that we did, and the other ones that I did in my career when I was still in law enforcement. Well, I've got like 5 or 6 that I solved that were cold cases. But guess what? They got solved. So that percentage is there. It can be done. But this pathologist didn't have all the information. He was working bare bones, if you will, with working in the dark, and just all he can do is rule off the evidence from her body, which said that she had no damage to the back of her tongue. And due to his experience, except for a couple cases, due to his vast amount of experience, he ruled it a suicide. But they go back. They give him all the information that they have thus far. And now they have a lot more now, but that they had thus far. And he changed it from suicide to undetermined, but they don't want to go against him. Okay. I mean, at some point, it's not even about going against him. And, it's about getting justice for Hailey. And you need, well, you know what? I'm going to save it, because there's a lot more on this. But that percentage is there. She had a 0.255 blood alcohol. She weighed 100 pounds. If you're not passed out at 0.255 and you weigh 100 pounds, I don't know what you are. And I've told this story 1,000 times. Back when I was in uniform patrol, on my night off, I wanted to see on the breathalyzer machine, what my BAC would be, blood alcohol content would be, if I drank as much beer as fast as I could in a couple hours. And I did. I slammed like 18 beers. And I mean, I was like blackout drunk. All right. And I blew on the machine and I was a 0.14 and I weighed 275 pounds. 0.14. Well, imagine 100 pounds at 0.255, almost double what I was when I drank that vast amount of alcohol in that amount of time. Come on, man. I don't believe that she was awake. That I think that's a real simple explanation for that. And she wasn't the big drinker, every moment of everyday drinker like Brooks Cleary was. But we'll get to that. And the pathologist should have had the information to begin with. And I think the case would have been totally different. But I'm going to play you this next excerpt from this meeting. And the one thing you're going to hear again and again is they do 1000% believe it's a homicide, but they want a little more proof. Why do they need the proof? Because their pathologist, original finding was suicide until he got all the juice that they had collected that far, right? All right. So I want you to listen to this part, and I'm going to talk to you about it afterwards.
I mean, we've talked about this a million times. We would love to charge him. I'd love for him to be away for the rest of his life. I mean, it's that simple. All of us would. It's a matter of getting there. Dr. Norman did say, he went through a lot of Hailey's things and, her social media and whatever. And he's like, if I were her treating physician, I would be shocked if she had killed herself. He's like, I just don't see the signs of it. Right. So I mean, understand that's where I'm trying to explain. We all are on the same page with you. We do not believe this is a suicide. We don't. It's, can I prove that this isn't a suicide? Because, all the what ifs and everything are essentially what the defense will apply. Well, this could have happened this way. It could have happened this way. It could have happened this way. And what do you call it? You call it beyond, you call that a reasonable doubt. And that's where we get stuck.
I've seen cases be solved with just circumstantial evidence and going against, I guess, the grain, sort of. I mean, there's tons of circumstantial evidence against him. Mm-hmm. Is that not enough?
It's not. And now, can circumstantial evidence be enough? Yes. And if we get to the point that it is enough, 100% we'll absolutely charge him. Right now, I mean, boiling it all down, we have that he's a liar, right? And common sense tells you why lie, right? Like, if this is a suicide, if this happened at my house, I mean, the first thing out of my mouth is he killed himself, right? Because otherwise, who are they going to look at? Me, right? So if it's a suicide, why lie? I mean, it really boils down to that. If she killed herself, why lie? It makes no sense. There's no explanation for lying. Particularly when the truth, if the truth were suicide, right, would set him free. So why are you lying? It defies logic. Mm-hmm. So, but that is kind of our, best evidence, essentially, is like a common sense argument, which doesn't necessarily...
you have so many people, anybody that knows them knows he was abusive, aggressive, angry. She wasn't, every piece of evidence from the bar on to any interactions that anybody's had with him points to it. So I just don't see why all of that together would not be enough.
So, one of the issues is, and again, I don't believe this, but it would come out during the trial, is I know that, he claims, and I think it's on the jail call with y'all, he claims that she threatened to kill herself before. And then the mom reiterated that. Now, the mom actually says, yeah, I heard her, threaten to kill herself twice. She goes, but I didn't believe her. So she's not really trying to cover up for her by any means. Cover up for her son by any means. She was like, I've heard her threaten to kill herself, but I didn't think she would do it. So she she's very clear that like I didn't believe her, I didn't take it as a serious threat. You know, it was more like the, oh, I'm just going to kill myself situation, right? Which, I mean, most people have said, like, you know, as a term, a phrase, not like really meaning it. Oh, I completely agree. Completely agree. But we can't control, you know, what comes in and what doesn't, right? And so, and here's the thing, I can't tell you enough, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I mean, I 100% think this is a homicide. I'm just trying to get to the point that we can have enough. So, you know, what we've talked about in terms of what else can be done, obviously, Stella, we do want to have an interview with you. We want to talk to her manager, which would at least help support a, you know, the finding that she was not suicidal, right? And that's important. But then we also want to see if we can find some form of expert who could testify as to whether this is physically, I mean, whether she would be physically capable of doing this. Because I think that would be a huge piece, particularly for the medical examiner, if we can have an expert and possibly do like a demonstration to prove that it would not be possible. You know, that would be huge. And at this point, I mean, those are kind of the three big ticket items of where to go from here. Because, like, I'm struggling to figure out. I mean, I really felt like getting Dr. Norman involved and getting, you know, toxicology and everything was going to make this much easier.
So is he just going to be like allowed to like run around?
Unless and until we can get charges on him.
So I just don't I don't understand. There's, you know, if you can't go at it one way, then shouldn't, you know, there's not even been a blip about her on the news or anything. Shouldn't the public be asked to come forward if they have information on them or something? I mean, shouldn't there be something to try to get more information instead of just, you know?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Ultimately, you know, it boils down to who's in that room, which we know was just the two of them.
Are there past police reports about, like, incident reports?
No.
No,
They were arrested for marijuana possession.
Yeah.
That was it.
but never a domestic violence call to
We
that?
have nothing. We've searched through the companion databases through other law enforcement agencies. There's nothing.
Oh, okay, because that's what I think you were thinking, that there had been.
Somebody said that the police had been there before, and I can't remember.
We can't find a record of it. Because we have the ability to search other databases from the law enforcement agencies and to look through the what we call our computer, our dispatch system logs, and we can't find anything. So there may have been someplace else, and it may have come in as a different call, but based on that address and what have you, we got nothing.
And does it,
What about at his mom's house?
Don't have anything there either.
Did you check his truck?
His what?
His truck.
What about his truck?
Did you check your truck?
I have not checked his truck, no.
I would check his truck.
For what?
Just in case.
I mean, I
What's
don't
the
like.
probable cause to search the truck?
I mean,
He has to either give us consent to do it, which is not, or we have to have probable cause to take a search warrant to check the truck. And at this point in time, we don't have probable cause. We can't link the truck to the actual actions inside the apartment.
Now, if you told us something that, like, could be in the truck that's relevant, but right now we don't have anything.
and what about like his clothing? Does that?
was there blood on his clothes?
So here's the other thing that made this very difficult is he was tested for GSR, which is gunshot residue. That actually is not a great test for law enforcement purposes. We rarely use it because it's not the most reliable in court. However, this was one that would actually be the rare set of circumstances that it could have been extremely helpful, not on his hands.
Could he have washed it off?
He could have.
Yeah.
But what we
You
have
that
is
sense
that
if you make.
But
Right.
did you find the shirt that he was wearing?
We found all the clothes in the apartment.
No, that he was wearing when he.
Well, the shirt, when we found him, we have all that clothes. We have all of it.
Right,
But was
but
it safe?
that's not-
I have no way to tell.
Well, I mean, Mazda knows that it wasn't the same shirt he was arrested in.
blood was on
He
it?
said he was changing at the time.
We didn't find
But he
it.
was-
So where is the shirt that he changed from?
We have no clothing that has any blood on it.
Genetics can be beautiful. Maybe you got your mom's eyes or her great skin. But genetics can also be a nightmare. I hear friends say, I got my mom's belly and love handles. Don't let genetics be the thing that holds you back from getting the body you deserve. Check out the Permanent Solutions by Sano Bello. Our friends at Sano Bello are offering you their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited. So please make your appointment today. Sano Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal. What is micro fat laser removal? Micro laser fat removal is a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, wherever your problem areas are, the fat is gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that. But if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sano Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/RLRC. That's SONOBELLO.com/RLRC.
This episode is sponsored by MIDI Health.
MIDI Health is here to change the way women experience menopause care. As a husband, I've seen my wife Cindy navigate the challenges of menopause, and it hasn't been easy. Keeping up with her symptoms while feeling dismissed by traditional healthcare providers was tough for her. It was disheartening to hear the doctors say it was all in her head, or to just focus on diet and exercise. I learned that many healthcare providers lack training in menopause, which is shocking. 80% of OBGYNs report they are untrained in this critical area, and 75% feel uncomfortable discussing it with their patients. Thank goodness Cindy found MIDI. MIDI is a virtual care clinic dedicated to truly seeing, hearing, and understanding women's experiences. It was created by women for women, and they accept insurance in all 50 states. Getting started is simple. She visited www.trymidi.com/real, set up her account, and entered her insurance information and shared her symptoms. She was able to choose a convenient time to meet her clinician. During the virtual visit, she discussed her symptoms and health history in detail with a nurse practitioner trained in perimenopause, menopause, and weight management. If she needs any tests like blood work or imaging, they help coordinate it with a local facility that accepts her insurance. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now she can follow her treatment plan and schedule follow-up visits. MIDI even collaborates with her other doctors for in-person treatment if necessary. Best of all, there are no hidden costs, no membership fees, and MIDI bills your insurance directly. MIDI also offers fantastic products including compound semaglutide and estriol face cream, which Cindy loves. This prescription skincare product is designed to improve skin elasticity, hydration, and texture, addressing those frustrating changes related to estrogen decline. So if you're ready to take charge of your midlife health, go to www.trymidi.com/real. That's www.trymidi.com/real to schedule a virtual visit. Join more than 200,000 women who love and trust MIDI for their midlife care. Y'all use my code SAFE15 to get $15 off your first RX product when you book your visit.
Except what he was wearing,
Which is-
other than what he was wearing.
Which is what I think he put in his truck.
Yeah.
What, like, why?
But I told you before, and I don't know why I don't have dreams often, but
Yeah.
it's like she was showing me what happened. He went to his truck and he put something in his truck. I don't know, and I know you can't do a case based on a dream,
Yeah.
but it does seem like if there's a question of murder or suicide, that the truck should have been searched anyway. Like, I mean, that just
15 minutes,
seems.
it's not hard to just run downstairs.
Well, I agree. I completely agree. You have to have probable cause. And I mean, even right there on scene, there's no way a judge would grant probable cause to search a truck when there's no evidence.
That's ridiculous.
I don't disagree with you.
Like Ring doorbell cameras.
No, we checked.
And any other things.
We looked, there are no Ring doorbell cameras, there's no blink cameras, there's no other surveillance cameras in and around there.
Yeah, but we don't have to.
We looked, there are no Ring doorbell cameras, there's no blink cameras, there's no other surveillance cameras in and around there.
Not even around the office.
Up at the office is the wrong angles and it's too far away. It's covered by the trees.
Well, that's pretty hard to try.
And I guess
You could see him have to
at the bar, there's no footage that shows like what he was wearing at that point.
No.
Well, they didn't give the
Did
footage.
you check that footage though to see if he went anywhere?
The apartment complex.
Couldn't see the angles
I
from?
don't know, maybe.
At the apartment complex, there's no cameras in the area of the building, so we didn't check any. We do have plot cameras though, and that car didn't hit on any plot cameras in any nearby streets because it picks up license plates as they go by. So after the incident,
No, I was just saying that the camera angle that you guys said you couldn't see the apartment from the streets were walking.
Yeah, for the front office.
Yeah, you should still check.
the footage is going to be gone now. I didn't see any surveillance cameras, not in my initial look. That's the one first thing you do is you look for cameras on the apartment building anywhere around the area.
So,
Here's the thing, we're not giving up. Part of this meeting is, what else can y'all think of? Because it's your daughter. I mean,
whatever,
Everything, like,
whatever it takes. I mean, if it takes,
Well, we're with
it
you,
takes
but I'm-
coming out to the public to get information. Maybe somebody at the apartment complex saw something that, you haven't talked to yet. I don't know.
when like,
Maybe there's,
you're gonna say too, like there's many cases of him getting violent with her, and like it's just
yeah, who though? Who?
Alyssa.
one of
Alyssa.
her coworkers.
Okay.
Um,
I missed the name of the person.
But maybe a list, because that's what they've said, that, there's a lot of people knew her by herself and also knew them as a couple, and that it was a volatile relationship. I guess
on his word, yes.
having people say that or testify to that or give a deposition or whatnot, would that be helpful?
I mean, look, we'll take anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to turn away evidence.
Okay. But that might be something.
Ultimately, like especially when you're working in a circumstantial case, every little bit counts, right? Because ultimately you have to have enough to be able to convict someone. So every little bit counts. So yes, any
I just can't-
names, anything you can think of.
I just can't be okay with him being smart enough to kill my daughter after all the other stuff that he did and get away with it.
I agree.
Okay, it can't happen that way.
I agree.
So I don't know what needs to be done, but something. And I mean, if I need to try to get information from everybody, I'll do that. Whatever needs to be done, I'll do. But it has to be done.
I mean, we're with you.
Until then,
If this was-
What's that?
until then, you were saying.
No, we're not saying that at all.
We're not saying no at all. Like
So-
I said,
so-
we're trying to get an expert. Well, like I said, I'm meeting with college again. Okay, because that's huge. I mean, that is huge.
Has he seen the report from the other Dr. Norman? Or
Mm-hmm.
he has already seen that report and
We
has
talked
really
about
swayed
it.
him.
We've talked about it. So, well, I haven't sat down with him
Okay,
personally.
so that's what's next week, hopefully.
But I've shared all that with him.
Okay.
So, so we're still meeting with Dr. Gullidge. Obviously, Stella, like I said, they want to talk to you. They want to talk to people at the candy shop. We want to figure out if we can find an expert who can,
I mean, I just
really
don't
do
understand why-
measurements of whether it's humanly possible, because that's huge, right? Those are kind of the big ticket items. And so, no, we're not giving up at all.
But I don't understand,
want
like,
to.
why all these people weren't talked to already, because people forget things and people, I mean, it's like.
Well, understand, the way we work every case is we start with what's going to be the most important in swaying something, right? If Dr. Gullidge, for example, well, let me back up even further. If we had gunshot residue, that would have gotten us somewhere, okay? We don't.
Okay, I know.
If we had the toxicology, if we had the blood alcohol, if we have Dr. Gullidge, if we have Dr. Norman, right? Like, we work with what is the quickest way to get charges, because that's the way I'm seeing it, is I want to charge him. So what is going to get us there the quickest?
But while you're waiting on all these things, it's been 3 months. Like, couldn't you be doing the other things just in case?
One thing that you have to understand, and I don't mean to be rude about this, we can talk to all of these people and they can say they had a volatile relationship. They used to fight like cats and dogs all the time. He treated her like crap. It still doesn't say that that's exactly what happened to that apartment at that night.
Well, I understand that, but
Like, what's gonna happen if y'all can't find anything? It's just gonna be a suicide?
I mean, it won't be ruled as suicide, but
It'll be
we might not be able
undetermined.
to, we might not be able to make charges. I mean, understand, we truly want to make charges. We truly want to make charges. But I have to be able to substantiate these charges. I mean, if I charge him today, my concern is we don't even make it past probable cause, which means the case gets thrown out and that's it.
Then lying, like just
So
That
we-
alone
face
is
is
just
not
not
enough.
enough.
It's
It's
not enough.
not. And I know it's
every
frustrating, but like
information, every single piece of
here's where it's
information.
difficult, and I think and it's hard to understand. But unfortunately, this is what I do all the time. I just finished trial this past week, and went and talked to the jury afterwards. We had a co-defendant who was there for the whole thing. I mean, start to finish, saw everything. Everything she said was corroborated. I'm talking, there was jail calls that she was on the phone talking about this crime as it was happening, talking about who was there. I mean, we had surveillance video. We had phone records. We had someone with the FBI testifying to the phone records. I mean, we had everything you can think of. And I talked to the jury afterwards. They convicted of all counts, but they're like, we weren't sure if he was really there. But, we realized that like he at least made the phone call, which precipitated everything. And so under party to a crime, he's guilty. And I'm thinking, you didn't know if he was there? He's on video. And his girlfriend, who he's been sleeping with for over a year, said that was him. Like, how do you not know that's him? So that's the problem, is our juries are horrible. I mean, I've never liked a jury. They're all awful. Every single one of them. They're dumb as you can find them. I mean, and there's nothing we can do about it. And so a case like this, you have a good defense attorney. It's not a matter of, did he do it or not? A good defense attorney is not going to argue he's innocent. A good defense attorney is going to say there's reasonable doubt. You don't know whether she killed herself. That's reasonable doubt. You think he did it, and you're not sure he did it. That's reasonable doubt. And a good defense attorney owns it. Yes, he lied. Yes, he's sketchy. Yes, his behavior makes no sense. But what evidence do you have that she did not do this and that he did? And that's where you get stuck.
So,
There's just like a lot, like the fact that you have no, like, residue when he was holding her.
Well, it's not going to be transferred from her.
That's what you said.
that's what it is.
That's what you said.
When you're talking, so you're talking about like touching her face.
Anything, like
Her head, her face.
It would be everywhere, right?
But his hands. Yeah.
So I talked to our analyst, and he mentioned that shotguns, like a pump shotgun like that, 98% of the residue comes outside the barrel, which was in her mouth at the time. It's not like a handgun, where if I shoot a handgun, the ejection of the shell will send gunpowder residue back at you too. So
that's not
And also, and the blood is the other problem, right? So he has blood all over his hands, and then he's wiping his hands. So, like, we can explain why it's not there, right? Like, there's an explanation for that, but the defense is going to turn it around on us, right? You're like, well, it should have been there.
Yeah, so going forward.
So it gets us
There's nothing
nowhere.
there.
Well, but that's the point, is it gets us, that's not what I'm saying. Because I've explained to you. Well, I've explained to you what we're doing.
But,
You're
okay,
saying there's nothing else to do.
no.
That is not what I'm saying.
And they are gonna do other things, but it's not gonna do.
But you've still got a couple major things you're waiting
Well, there's
for Dr.
major
Gullidge.
things. I mean, if we talk to Dr. Gullidge, right, and we also have an expert that can show and prove that there's no way she killed herself, we will 100% take charges.
Because you're still, that's what you're saying, you're looking for an expert that says the
I'm
angle
looking
and
for
that.
something to be able to charge this case. Right now, I'm not there.
Okay, so you're a mom,
Yes.
you're me.
Mhm.
What would you do right now? What do I need to do? If this was your daughter, what needs to be done?
I honestly don't know. And trust me, I've put myself in your shoes, and that's why this case means so much to me, because I truly cannot fathom this. I mean, I really can't. It makes me sick. And I don't know. I appreciate the fact that y'all talked to him so much, because quite frankly, I was hoping something would come of that. We are not allowed to tell you to go talk to him, because you become a state actor, and then there's all sorts of issues, so I can't tell you to do that. But I would have done the same thing if I were you. I was glad that you did it, and I was hoping that something would come of that. There's lies, and again, those lies are helpful, right? But it's not the end all be all. And I don't know, because no one else was in that apartment, and that's what makes it so hard. But that's why we want to go through these extra hoops to see if there's anything.
Okay, so do I need to, I have to do something. It's like, okay, something has to be done. So do I need to talk to reporters and get them to ask for information from the public? Do I need to hire a private detective? Do I need to, is there something I can do? Because I have to do, like,
No, I hear you. I agree. I don't have an issue with you going to reporters. I don't. I mean, you know, you never know if something comes of it. I don't have an issue with that at all. I don't know what a private investigator could or would do that we haven't. So I
don't either, but like, you know, for one, I really have a problem with the fact that you can't find a shirt he had on. That doesn't make any sense.
Or don't know if it was in the bedroom if he just changed out of it.
My only description of the shirt from Mazda, and he barely remembered what he was wearing at the time. He just, I'm not sure if he even totally said that it wasn't the shirt that he was wearing at the time.
He told me that.
He told you that?
Yes.
Like in the mugshot, I think.
But the description he gave me, it would be impossible to pick it out from any other piece of clothing inside the
No,
apartment.
but I'm saying though, if you had a shirt on when it happened, it would have blood all over it. So
The one he did have
it
blood
was
over
blood, so.
But at the same time, he held it.
Right.
Yeah. And I apologize, I've got another meeting I've got to get to, so I'm just gonna step out. Can I escort my wife?
I'll take you upstairs.
Okay, I apologize.
No, you're good, and I appreciate you being here.
All right. And I'll talk to you in a little bit.
I mean, I'm open to anything. I really am. I mean, we want there to be charges here, and I'm just, you know, other than the checklist I've given you, like, I can't think of anything right now, and I truly tried to think outside the box. I thought, you know, really all of our steps have been like, this is it. Like, if we just have this, you know, and then we just get to another dead end. But anything else help us. I mean, I'm all ears. It is a very, very frustrating case, and it's frustrating because it's not like he's experienced in this. It's not like he, you know, some criminal mastermind. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, this shouldn't be this hard. It really shouldn't.
I mean, I'm not a detective. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix this. But I'm telling you, you cannot walk this. There's no way that can happen. So whatever I need to do,
When was the
whatever
most
copy,
recent time you've had contact with him?
the time in jail. The last time that he was in jail. But I mean, I'll go to his house and talk to him if he'll talk to me. I don't care what I need to do. I just need to know what I need to do, because apparently going to the jail and talking to him didn't do any good. So even if I go to his house and talk to him, is that going to do any good? I don't know what needs to be done, but this is not okay.
How did you communicate with him before all of this? By phone?
Yeah. But I mean, you know, he doesn't have his phone anymore, so
You don't have any number or any form.
Is there any way that we can just talk to him?
I can't tell you what.
No, yeah, but what I'm saying is, if we go talk to him, is it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't know. You know, do I think he's going to just confess to you? Probably not, right? I don't know.
But even if he did, would it do any good? I mean,
If he confessed to you?
yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
really?
Oh, yeah. Because here's the thing. We have circumstantial evidence. It's not like we don't have evidence. It's just that we don't have enough. And so we're waiting for that like extra bit, whatever that may be, to get us over the hump to be able to charge him, right? So if we had everything we have here today and then a confession, we'd be able to charge him in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? If we had everything we have today and then we can find an expert who can definitively say that there's no way she could do this to herself, we're there. Like, we just need something. And all of us are kind of at a loss of, you know, like when I sit here and tell you as a mother, I can't think of what else to do. I mean that in the sense that I don't want that to be my answer. I'm not the kind of person that just is comfortable with, we've done everything we can. That's just not my personality. But I'm also, like, we've racked our mind of, like, what possibly can we find or do. And you know, we have these few things left which are helpful. I don't want that to be the entire list unless one of those things gets us there. Then I'm fine with it, obviously.
So where do you find experts that will do that?
So Collins has someone he's going to reach out to and see. That's part of the issue, is that that's not like it's not like a field that just exists, you know. And so I talked about, I have a contact at the GVI who's a firearms expert, but I don't know that she can do like reconstructed firearm necessarily. So we're looking into some contacts to figure out who we can find to do that.
So, if we get enough people to come forward and say that they had this volatile relationship, that he was abusive and she wasn't, will that help?
It will help. You know, whether that's enough to get us there is another question.
Have you heard of Mood.com? They sell federally legal cannabis gummies. Everything you'd expect from a dispensary, and ship it right to your door. 0 pants required. I'm serious. You can now get high quality, 100% federally legal cannabis products delivered right to your door without ever leaving your couch. And you can get $30 off your first order at mood.com/RLRC with promo code RLRC. Mood partners with small American farms to bring you amazing high-potency THC gummies, home-baked cookies, top-shelf flour, vapes, and more. And third-party lab-tested, backed by a 100-day guarantee. No dispensary lines, just clean, quality, 100% federally legal THC from the farms to your couch. Best of all, not only is every Mood product backed by a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, listeners get $30 off their first order with code RLRC. So head to mood.com/RLRC, check out their online dispensary, and let Mood help you discover your perfect mood. And don't forget to use promo code RLRC when you check out to save $30 on your first order. Are you ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Look no further than Factor. Factor offers chef-made gourmet meals that are dietitian approved and can be heated and enjoyed in just 2 minutes. Perfect for fueling your body and feeling great, no matter what life throws your way. Factor makes it easy to eat well and stick to your nutritional goals. Factor delivers fresh, fully prepared meals right to your doorstep, making it ideal for anyone with an active, busy lifestyle like my family. Are you looking to shed a few pounds? With Factor, you can lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto Meals. This is based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto, although results will vary depending on individual diet and exercise. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's simple to find meals tailored to your specific goals. You can choose preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto, ensuring there's something for everyone. Factor helps me feel my best all day long, and it can help you too. Factor offers wholesome smoothies, delicious breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and so much more. Their variety makes it easy to stick to your nutrition goals without feeling deprived. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning and helps my family stay on track with our health goals, making healthy eating not just achievable, but enjoyable. Recently, I had Factor's mushroom chicken thighs and wild rice. Imagine tender, juicy chicken thighs, perfectly seared and sauteed to golden perfection. Factor's mushroom chicken, thighs, and wild rice dish brings together rich, earthy flavors that will satisfy your cravings and leave your taste buds dancing with delight. This gourmet meal features succulent chicken thighs paired with a savory mushroom sauce that's bursting with goodness. It's complemented by a hearty serving of fluffy wild rice, expertly seasoned to enhance the flavors of chicken. Each bite is a harmonious blend of textures, tender meat, creamy mushrooms, and wholesome grains. Ready in just 2 minutes, this dish is not only easy to prepare, but also nourishing, providing you with the fuel you need to tackle your day. Whether you're a busy professional, a parent on the go, or just someone who appreciates a home-cooked meal without the hassle, Factor guarantees convenience and taste. So why wait? Treat yourself to a culinary delight with Factor's mushroom chicken thighs and wild rice, the perfect balance of flavor, nutrition, and simplicity. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/RLRC50off and use code RLRC50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code RLRC50off at factormeals.com/RLRC50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
Because at the end of the day, they were in this room.
All right. So you hear them again and again say, we believe it's a homicide, but we need more, right? But what you hear on this episode is Miss Barbara and Stella and them bringing the hard questions, and Tyler bringing the hard questions. What got me was when they start really hounding them about, first of all, about videos around the apartment complex. And the guy was like, well, on my initial survey through, I didn't see any that way. And then he kind of crawfished and she took over for him. On your initial survey, or however it was he said it, that means, what about your secondary survey? Did you go look? What about the video from the bar, the Anchor bar? What clothing was he wearing? It wasn't that shirt he swapped into, y'all. And they keep asking, well, did you check his truck? Did you, where is the shirt that he was wearing? Well, Maz couldn't even really remember what shirt he was wearing. Well, wait a minute. Go interview the waiters or the waitresses, the people that kicked him out of the Anchor bar. They know what he was wearing. And I promise you, he wasn't wearing a short sleeve Champion shirt like you could see Patrona Convicts. Y'all can see it in the videos. He wasn't wearing that when it's 20 degrees outside. Right? Even if he had a coat on over that, he still would have had a long sleeve shirt on. And why don't you have witness statements from everybody that was in the bar, not just his servers, but if you're causing such a fucking ruckus that you get thrown out, people saw you. If they were in the bar by themselves, they probably wouldn't have got thrown out. It's a bar, right? But he's being a dick and you get thrown out. So people are looking, and, that's kind of shade. I got to throw a little shade on that part of the investigation. Those people should have been interviewed right away. Show the picture of his booking photo. They know who he is. So was that the shirt that he was wearing? That shirt's ugly as fuck. It's a short sleeve Champion sports shirt, if you will, I guess. Get someone to say that he wasn't doing that. They talk about they need more evidence. That's huge. Yes, it's circumstantial, but the law says you should not give more weight to circumstantial than direct evidence. If you know that he changed shirts by the time Mazda dropped them off, and what about the apartment manager that said, hey, if y'all don't cut this shit out, she talked to him. He said she talked to him. Yeah. If y'all don't cut this shit out, then I'm going to call the cops. What was he wearing? Was he wearing this shirt? No, he was wearing a sweatshirt. Okay. maybe she might have said he was wearing a shirt, but I don't believe so. But was he wearing the shirt? No. Well, where the fuck's the shirt he was wearing? And that detective said, well, we got all the clothes that are in the apartment and none of them had blood on it. Okay. If he wasn't wearing that shirt, and I'm going to give you the evidence that he wasn't wearing the shirt, but it's going to come later on. If he wasn't wearing that shirt, where the fuck is it? Why did it take 10 to 15 minutes after she was shot for him to go downstairs and say, oh, I think she fell and hit her head. I think she fell and hit her head and she's having a seizure. Why did it take 10 to 15 minutes? What can you do in 10 to 15 minutes? A lot. Change clothes. Go downstairs. Who knows what he did downstairs? Who knows if there's not another camera down there somewhere? Because remember, the guy said his initial search. Well, he could have put it in his truck. He could have thrown it in the trash bin. He could have done anything. We don't know because it was never investigated. Now, I believe their heart's in the right place. I believe, and of course I'm playing armchair quarterback. I believe their heart's in the right place, but I know for a fact that wasn't looked into. And that's just the way that it is. Now, the suicide question. And they said, oh, well, his mama said she heard her, on 2 different occasions, talk about suicide. And, but she wasn't covering up for Brooks. She was just saying it. Okay. That doesn't mean anything, and then she talks about going to get an expert or trying to find an expert to see if it's physically possible for a 5'0" to put a long barrel shotgun in her mouth and pull the trigger. You can't do it unless you pull it with your toes. And if you're a .255, can you put a long barrel hunting shotgun in your mouth and pull it with your toes? A person who's not even familiar with shotguns, right? Remember Brooks' story kept changing every time he was in jail from to the cops even. He said, no, I just told her this is for safety, and later on, he's like, oh no, she tried to, get the shotgun before. And then the next time it was this, and the next time it was this. He kept adding on to make it look better for Brooks because he knew those questions were going to be coming. And I 1000% agree that a defense attorney will say, yeah, okay, there's reasonable doubt. Well, you know what? That's what defense attorneys do. You have to provide, just like Courtney Coco's case, you have to provide enough evidence that a reasonable person will say, he did it. Okay. And that evidence certainly can be circumstantial. I got tons of cases that are totally circumstantial. Look, unfortunately, a lot of times when people murder people, there's not witnesses to it. You have to go off, you have to build your case, gather the evidence and build your case. But the one thing you hear in this episode, the family asking the hard questions. What would you do? Miss Barbara saying, what would you do if your mom, right? And the detective's like, yes. What would you do if it was your daughter? Do I need to talk to the media? Do I need to get more people to come forward? Well, certainly more people can come forward, but I can't tell you that that's going to solve the case. Well, you know what? It won't hurt the case. And why haven't more people been interviewed already? Why don't you know what he was wearing that day definitively? Okay. If he had a jacket on, where was the jacket that he was wearing? Prove it or disprove it. Not there. It's just not there. And I think that they were bringing Miss Barbara and Stella and Tyler back in to say, hey, look, we're definitely still working on this. It's not over. We all believe 1000% it's a homicide. But, we have these questions, but we're going to work it. We're going to get them done. Well, guess what? Miss Barbara and them had a hell of a lot more questions that they weren't prepared for. That's what you heard today. It's legit. It's the way that it is. Now, again, I want to go back to, and this is going to be my recurring theme from this point on. You get your pathologist, no evidence except for Hailey's body. He says it's suicide. Then you get him the evidence that you had up until that point. And he comes back and he changes it to undetermined. That's huge. That's huge. But you don't want to go against your guy. And she says that unequivocally. We use him every day. It's hard for us to go against our guy. Well, you're not going against him. Just get him to say that, yes, I originally ruled it a suicide because I didn't know all this shit. I didn't have all the evidence that they had. But once I got the evidence, I had to at least rule it an undetermined because I definitely couldn't say it was a suicide. I couldn't at this point say it was a homicide, but I definitely couldn't say it was a suicide. That's a huge victory. But I understand from a law enforcement standpoint that they want a slam dunk case. And I get that. Every case is not a slam dunk case, but there's a lot more to be done in this, y'all, and it's coming. But every case is not a slam dunk case. Sometimes you got to grab your nuts and take this shit to the grand jury. And we're going to get to that point, right? And there's a lot more coming, a lot more. There's a lot of stuff that should have been done, honestly, and we're going to get to that. When I get done with this, y'all, I'm going to break down every single lie. And like she said, yeah, he's a liar. And basically, he's a piece of shit, and he's a liar. Does that mean we can prove him to be a killer? No. Does it mean that you can't? No. All right. But if you have 12 people sitting in the jury box and they hear all the evidence, even what you have just thus far, they hear all the evidence, I'd be like, fuck it. I mean, if I'm getting ready to go to bed, go take a nap, and it's cold AF outside, the clouds are gray, they're dark, and it looks like it's about to snow, but there's no snow on the ground, right? But it's there. The storm is there, but I'm going to bed. I go take me an hour nap, and I get up. It's not snowing, but there's 10 inches of snow on the ground. Then what can I conclude? I can only conclude that a reasonable person conclude that it snowed while I was taking a nap. You're looking at the same kind of situation here. But back to the no damage to the tongue, it's so easily explainable. You don't have to be knocked out with GHB, right? You don't have, if you're passed out, you're fucking passed out. And there's even a % chance that it could be done. She could be shot and not be passed out and not have the damage to her tongue. I mean, the doctor admitted that there's, less than a 1% chance that there, well, guess what? What is the percentage of someone winning the Powerball? It's less than that, but somebody wins it. Okay. You can't say, at some point you got to give it to the people. And that's what we want at the end of hashtag Justice for Hailey. We're going to do the call to action and try to persuade the powers that be to give it to the people. Take it to the grand jury. That's what the family wants. Take it to the grand jury. Let them decide. If they come back and they say no, then you know what? That's all Miss Barbara and them want. Then she will know she'd done everything she could. And real quick, the other thing they said was, if we take it in today and get a note. She said, I think she was talking about like a jury trial. Guess what? You can't get to a jury trial without going to the grand jury. But if you take it to the grand jury and they say, no, we want more evidence, it doesn't make it go away. She said, if we take it in today and they say no, then this case is over with. No, homicides are never over with. Ever. You could always get more evidence. Miss Barbara Blunt's case, holy shit. Just waiting on a little more evidence. Okay. Murders never go away. Now, if you go to jury trial and they find him not guilty, Yeah, but you can't get to a jury trial unless you present it to the grand jury. So let's get it to the people. But meanwhile, y'all just stay tuned and listen. There's so much more to come. And when you take the totality of the circumstances, then you think about me going to take my nap and it's getting ready to snow, me waking up and there's 10 inches of snow on the ground. You have no other reasonable choice, even though it's circumstantial evidence. You have no other reasonable choice but to say it snowed. What else could it be? All right. And I'm Woody Overton, your host of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. Until next time, or ever, don't let me catch you down on Murder Bayou. # Justice for Hailey. Peace.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, and Student Loan Interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.